Welcome back. This picture is from the 24th of February and it's a mixture of watercolours, and I've gone over it with acrylic pens. It kind of ends up looking a bit like a strange bird figure looking off to the left, but in very abstract. And I was looking at Philomena 17, I don't know how to pronounce that, although it does remind me of Philly, as in Philadelphia, and also a young horse, I think. This is one where I've been obsessed with boughs again. For we have great joy and consolation in thy love, because the boughs of the saints are refreshed by thee, brother. So a bit of loperamide and diorite sorted everybody out. The Wycliffe version mentions entrails. The New International Version says hearts. Again, from something like splagnon, or however you pronounce it. To the Greeks, then, the boughs were regarded the seat of the more violent passions, such as anger and love, but by the Hebrews as the seat of tender affections, so the equivalent of our heart. Part of the reason why I'm obsessed with this point, apart from being crazy, is this active translation, but also I'm writing about Baudelaire's Paris spleen in my thesis, and I'm sort of trying to get to the bottom of what the spleen represents. Everything's quite abstract, but I do kind of see a figure here, sort of in the centre of the image with kind of like a yellow face. There's sort of that wing that's going off to the side, possibly a female figure off to the right. Everything's a bit blurry over this side, but it does look a bit like there's two columns there in a kind of grid that's becoming blurred. And then possibly somebody there in dark blue sat inside a crescent moon, maybe, with some grains beneath. This part is kind of like a face looking off to the left-hand side with something emanating out the back of the head there, like a bit of sunshine maybe. This possibly looks a bit like grain, I think. The bit in green there could also look like a head, but I think it's more like a bit of grain that, you know, was folded over, for want of a better term. Well, it does look like there's a hand reaching out from that, holding up this thing that would be a flag. This bit at the bottom looks a bit like Roland Rat with a funny hat on. So I'm none the wiser about what the bowels or spleen really mean, although obviously now I've read that about the bowels by Greek poets, it meant something else. And again, fascinating how different parts of the body mean different things in different cultures and how that can translate into health, which is part of my research. But as a piece of art, especially abstract art, I do really like this, and I do particularly like working with these watercolours. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe.